Right, we're here with Curtis and me, Lee Judges. We're talking about the biggest controversy, so they say, in football. Right, you know, I just want to add, you know, that all of a sudden, like, the game against Brentford when they forgot to put the offside lines in a couple of seasons ago, which cost us 2 points.
Yeah,
that was massive. I don't see the meat around the bone as much as what I've seen in the last 24 hours, or less than 24 hours. Because what's your take on all this?
I love it. I don't know about you, you know. Our good friend Kevin Campbell always used to say, didn't it? It's the Arsenal, you know what I mean? They hate the Arsenal, and I don't know why. Shay Given.
Shay Given. Let's talk about the goalkeepers first. Shay Given and Schmeichel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, embarrassing. You know what I mean? Embarrassing, like, you know what I mean? They're goalkeepers, the goalkeepers union, and all the protection that they've had.
Yeah.
It's a stonewall foul. And they're saying, no, like, going back to other decisions and all that. You know what I mean? Shameful on them too.
We could quite easily go through decisions that have gone against us. David Luiz at Wolves. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, the Brentford one, there's loads of situations, but I don't know how anybody can look at that and think that's not a foul. He's got the arm across him. His shirt's being pulled from the other side. You know nowadays you can't do much on goalkeepers anyway. Like I don't see anything but a clear foul. Even if that was at the other end, I'd be hurt, but I'd go, it's right there, isn't it? Exactly that. And
Shay Given and Schmeichel, go back to Leicester a couple of years ago when Ben White pulls the sleeve of the goalkeeper and Trossard smashes it in from 30 yards. Yeah. Where was it all then? Yeah. There was a slight bit of contact. It's fair enough. That yesterday, I don't care what anybody says. Yes, I agree. Shouldn't have took as long as what it did. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you know what I mean? Let's just go on to the things in the box. Souček was doing it. Rice was doing it. They were all doing it. They were all doing it. Like they were doing it all down the other end as well when it was Arsenal things and all that. Like the referee, by the way, pulled up a couple of fouls for that, like, you know, against us. Like they were doing it. It takes so long to get it right. Once you see it once.
What was it like in the stadium? Because that felt like forever waiting for that.
It was a nightmare, Curtis. Isn't it? I had to get myself up off the floor to start off with. Right, you know what I mean? But like when they actually said it was a foul, it was good reception in the ground yesterday. She was like on my group chats and all that, like, you know, and one of my mates turned around and said, 100% definite foul, arm across straight away. So he says, it's going to go to VAR. Don't know what's going to happen. Like, you know what I mean? So I was trying to keep updated on that. And I actually thought at one stage that they wasn't going to get. And I don't know how you felt about this, but when he went over to the thing, I honestly thought he was going to say, no, it's still a goal.
Yeah. So
I did. Every single time they go over there, it's
they just seem to go with the decision.
But he looked at it. Now, I'm going to flip this another way, like, you know what I mean? I think that they were in VAR looking for something else to give so that they could give that goal. That's my thing about it, because how can that take that long to say? Because once you see it once, you say it's a foul.
You know, yeah.
So what?
17 times he looked at it.
Why is it? What's he looked at it 17 times for?
Do you know what I think? I think he knew it was a foul. I think he was sat there or stood there thinking, this decision is going to change everything. Because I saw Gary Neville saying that's the biggest VAR decision in Premier League history. It could have relegated West Ham. And it could have given Arsenal the title. And I think he was thinking, can I really overturn this? To be fair to him, because I don't like that ref. That's the guy who sent off Rice, isn't it, against Brighton. But he did overturn it. And you said it before and you were right. These refs don't want to make decisions anymore. Nah. He probably saw that and went, let VAR deal with it. Yeah, and then VAR don't want to give the decision. Yeah. They send him to the screen. I do agree that. I do think that these big controversial calls now, they're not making because they think to themselves, VAR will sort it out. Yeah. And I think if there wasn't VAR, he would have given the foul, like, because he's giving fouls down the other end. I don't know what he was actually looking. What do you, from a corner? If you be honest, as a referee, I've always felt that. Always look at the goalkeeper more than anything else. You don't look at anything else. That's why the bit of Grant and all that. You used to get away with that back in the day, because the referee would be focused on the goalkeeper, whatever, like, you know. And listen, when we played, I'm going to say this now, it was a lot more physical, a lot more
tackles flying in and all that. But the one thing you couldn't do was touch the keeper.
Yeah.
As much as, as football's changed, you weren't allowed to touch the keeper. A little slight contact on the keeper,
You get
foul.
a free kick, yeah. And the thing is that, because one of my mates was arguing this morning, he supports United, and I was saying, he's going, the grab, Trossard and Rice. I said the ball was going straight in David Raya's hands.
Yeah.
So if a guy behind him's grabbing him, the ball isn't reaching him.
Yeah.
Raya was impeded, and like you said, goalkeeper rules are different to outfield play.
Yeah.
And when you've played, if you're defending, you might grab the guy's shirt or try and knock him out of the way. You have to stop him getting the ball. The goalkeepers, you can't. Raya would have caught that ball if he had got the arm across him and his shirt
should be pulled. Yeah.
So I don't see what the controversy is.
No, I don't get it. And what about, should you ever dig at any more pundits?
Well, Bonlaw was at it this morning, one he. It's just.
I've always been very proactive towards Aston Villa, but I'm starting to hope Aston Villa have a few real bad things because to be fair to him, he knows what Arsenal
He's doing it on purpose.
He's doing it on
purpose.
Of course he is, you know what I mean? I will big up Gary Neville. We called it as it was straight away. Yeah. He called it. Wayne Rooney, who I've had a little thing of all that, called it. 100%, you know what I mean? And I don't see why people are saying it's not a foul. I've just gone down the road like some Man United fan comes in and says it's never a foul. Take your Arsenal specs off or whatever. It is a foul, Curtis.
You know what I mean? Just to look at the other side of the argument.
Go on.
What they're throwing at us is they're sort of saying we've had dark arts goals through the season where we've maybe blocked off a goalkeeper. Jarrod Bowen was saying that situation isn't usually, pulled up, and he said Arsenal have benefited from that. What do you make of that? Do you think?
I understand that sometimes there's a little bump on the goalkeeper. It wasn't a bump though.
No.
That's the difference. His arm's gone right across his feet. If he'd have bumped into him with his shoulder, and I ain't got a problem with that. That's be stronger.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, he's come right across his neck like that. And also, the worst one of it all is that he's pulling his arm down. So as he's getting to go with the ball, I get what everybody's trying to say. There is. I think a few Spurs might say Vicario's been bumped a few times and all that. There's a little bit of a difference on that, His arm's gone right across into his neck, and as you said, I'll be honest, if he's going to tap it like that, I think maybe I'd let it go. But the fact is, he's trying to he's catching it.
Catching the ball,
And the reason he ain't caught it is because he's been impeded, I just think it's a stonewall foul. As I said, I go back to they all bring up these things about, this one. Ben White, a little touch. Go and have a look at that one against Leicester, and if you think that's nowhere near as bad as that, but he got taken off.
Martinelli at Wolves, 2 yellow cards. I've never seen that
again.
Yeah, so...
and at the end of the day, because they've got it wrong on one thing, don't mean to say they've got to keep getting it wrong. Yeah. They've got to get it right. And I think at the end of the day, listen, I don't like VAR. If you was to ask me now, even after that, I'd get rid of it.
I'd get rid of it as well.
And let referees I don't think they're refereeing the way they should be. And if they've got to sort it out, Curtis, because at the moment it ain't great, you know what I mean? But the one thing I will say before we finish is the shock. I'm shocked by how many people are saying that they should have give it on whatever, I don't get that.
I don't see how. It's a blatant foul. But I think they're using judgment on previous things, and two wrongs don't make a right. He made the correct decision. Do you know what I mean? Based on that one decision. But I've aged about 10 years, I think, since yesterday.
Well done, VAR.
Well done, Arsenal, they call it.
Arsenal, we'll leave it on that. Up the Arsenal!